1.81 trillion naira to the federal, states and local governments as April 2025 Federation account revenue. The revenue was shared at the May 2025 Federation Account Allocation Committee FAC meeting held in Abuja. A statement by the Director, Press and Public Relations of the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Mr. Bawa Mokwa, explains that the distributed sum comprised distributable statutory revenue of 962.882 billion, Naira distributable value-added tax revenue, 598.077 billion Naira, money transfer levy revenue, 38.862 billion Naira, and exchange difference of 81.407 billion Naira. The statement says from the 1.681 trillion Naira shared, the federal government received a total sum of 565.307 billion. State governments received total sum of 556.741 billion, while the local government councils received 406.627 billion naira, with a sum of 152.553 billion shared as 13% revenue to the benefiting states as derivation revenue. On the 962.882 billion naira distributable statutory revenue, the communique stated that the federal government received 431.307 billion naira and the state governments received 218.765 billion naira. The local government councils received 168.659 billion naira and the sum of 144.151 billion naira, 13% of mineral revenue was shared to the benefiting states as derivation revenue. President Bola Tinubu says the traditional institution remains integral to the country's development and called for more support in implementing policies that will directly impact people's livelihoods. The president stated this at Abuja when he received the 46th Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Abimbola Abdul Hakim Owade I, his wife Abiwumi, and a delegation of other traditional rulers from Oyo State. He congratulated the Alaafin for his ascendancy to the historic throne, assuring the royal father of his prayers and support. President Tinubu commended the traditional council for the ease in nominating and crowning the 46th Alaafin following Oba Lamidi Adeyemi's passing on April 22nd, 2022. He said his administration will continue working with the traditional institution to implement policies to protect and prosper citizens. The president told the king that the sons of the Oyo Kingdom serving in his office had done exceptionally well, including Ambassador Victor Adeleke, State Chief of Protocol, and the aide-de-camp Colonel Nuruddin Alowonle Yusuf. The Alaafin had assured the president of the traditional council support in delivering his mandate to the people. The monarch said Nigerians were looking up to the president for a new direction, while commending his economic reforms, infrastructural development, instituting social welfare, youth empowerment, and improvement in security and investments in agriculture. And the president has restated his administration's resolve toward countering the insurgents, stressing that he will not condone any form of evil against the citizenry. The president stated this when he received the delegation of the Charismatic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria, led by his General Secretary Archbishop Chevre Chiansen, the State House of Abuja. Represented by his Special Advisor on Policy Communications, Mr. Daniel Bwala, President Tinubu said the security agencies were ready with renewed commitment to restore safety and security to every part of the country. While assuring that the fight against insecurity will be holistic, he pointed out that crime and have no religion or tribal coloration. The president says security forces have fresh marching orders to deal decisively with all criminal activities. He however stressed the need for a broad-based national consensus to deal effectively with the scourge, where everyone agrees that evil is evil and crime is crime without shielding or politicizing it. President Tinubu also informed the delegation that economic reforms undertaken by his administration had been yielding positive results as revealed by various economic indicators. He urged members of the team not to waver in supporting the administration to ensure that the economic progress being witnessed, including increased revenue for states and reduced incidences of strike actions, continued. The General Secretary of the group, Archbishop Chiansen, had said members of the delegation were at the State House to express their concern on the state of the nation, particularly the well-being of their members in the rural areas. He, however, commended President Tinubu for the various landmark reforms instituted by his administration aimed at ensuring a decent living for Nigerians. The Archbishop cited the recent approval for the recruitment and deployment of forest guards to secure the country's forest reserves, describing it as a step in the right direction, which will go a long way in checkmating the activities of criminal elements operating in the forest. Archbishop Chiantin also lauded President Tinubu for his fairness in his appointments, as they were devoid of any religious leaning. Vice President Kashim Shettima has reaffirmed the federal government's commitment to improving access to ear, nose and throat (ENT) healthcare services across Nigeria, citing urgent action needed to tackle hearing loss, medical brain drain and inadequate infrastructure. Speaking during a courtesy visit by the Othorinlaryngological Society of Nigeria at the presidential villa, Senator Shettima stressed that President Bola Tinubu's administration is determined to address critical gaps in the sector, including equipment shortages and the exit of medical professionals abroad. The Vice President acknowledged the severe shortage of ENT specialists in the country, estimating that fewer than 500 ENT surgeons may currently be practicing in Nigeria, as he warned that without immediate intervention, the brain drain crisis could worsen. According to a statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwocha, the Vice President emphasized that government support would extend beyond procuring medical equipment to include training, welfare, and retention strategies for healthcare workers. Earlier, Professor Kudiya highlighted alarming statistics on hearing loss, citing World Health Organization projections that 2.5 billion people globally, including 700 million, require rehabilitation and could be affected by 2050. Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation. The spread of the social media and other technological devices has no doubt come with its attendant challenges. Radio Link, the Radio Nigeria Audience Participatory Program this Saturday, will focus on parenting in a digital age. Our guest shall be a former Deputy Governor of Plateau State and former Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Talent, Professor Olukayode Afolabi of the Nigerian Psychological Association, and Ms. Ololade Ogunubi, a social worker and founder, Foundation and African Youth Leads Initiative. You can be part of this conversation by dialing 0915 091 0482 and 0915 091 0483. You could also send us emails on frcncurrentaffairs@yahoo.com. Radio Link takes the air every Saturday on the network service of Radio Nigeria from 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning. Join us.
The Nigerian Natural Medicine Development Agency, NNMDA, was established in 1997 by the federal government with a mandate to research, develop, document, and promote the nation's natural and herbal medicine. The Director General of the agency, Professor Martin Emeji, will render an account of the agency's activities since its inception, its achievements and challenges, as Kayode ABC takes him on Eagle Square, your Radio Nigeria public accountability program on the network service of Radio Nigeria, where only the truth is good enough.
Before the colonial masters came, nobody asked you those questions. And people lived for over 100 years using that thing. But when the colonial masters came, they came with a way to do their own. And that is what they taught you in school. So you grew up now thinking that if it is not like that, then it is not good.
It is this Monday at 7:30 in the evening. Join us.
From May 19 to 24, the brightest public relations minds from across the nation will converge in Uyo for a week that's as electric as it is enlightening. Keynotes that spark ideas, workshops that sharpen your edge, and yes, unforgettable vibes. Breathe in the essence of Akwa Ibom, where sunlit coastlines, irresistible cuisine, and the legendary warmth of Akwa Ibom people wrap you in a welcome like no other. PR and chill like never before at NPRW 2025, where strategy meets sunshine, culture meets leads conversation, and every moment is a headline. The event venue is Cedarbeg Hotel in Wait Housing, Rio. Register now at nprweek.niprng.org.ng. NPRW 2025, NIPR, Boldly Public Relations.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation. As we earlier told you, the federal government says out of the 440 new road projects initiated under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, 19 have already been completed and awaiting inauguration. The Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, made this known in Abuja during the 8th edition of the ministerial media briefing organized by the Federal Ministry of Information to intimate Nigerians on the scorecard of the various ministries under the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President. Our works correspondent Joseph Aki has details.
Presenting the scorecard of the Ministry of Works, Senator Mahi said the 260 palliative projects initiated under President Tinubu's administration in 2023 and awarded at a cost of 208 billion naira are now at 99% completion stage and will soon be inaugurated.
Just about 2 or 3 projects that are still outstanding. If this palliative were not fit, it would have been very difficult to go from one state to the other. The roads and the bridge sector is the major sector that grows the GDP of any nation.
Senator Mahi noted that the about 3,000 major road projects inherited by the Tinubu administration received the directive of the Federal Executive Council to be evaluated for continuation after the review of the contract terms. He highlighted some effort of President Tinubu in providing not just durable road infrastructure, but living legacy projects that will serve Nigerian generations to come.
Our GDP is growing, inflation is coming down, our foreign exchange is impacted positively. The World Bank says we are not going them again.
In compliance with the local content policy of the federal government, in the award of the road contract, Senator Mahi announced that a renewable program to empower local contractors have been introduced to ensure they are carried along in the execution of the ongoing coastal highway legacy projects.
The notice, you have the account that you judge Bounty and Togote, and that is the first legacy project of Mr. President, 432 kilometers. Everybody going through that place will be able to see the palliative work we've done.
The Minister of Works, Senator Mahi, emphasized the need for contractors to adhere to the 30-day presumption on the project site before the mobilization fee is paid, and enjoin both local and foreign contractors to develop the capacity to deliver quality road infrastructure in line with the New Hope vision of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In Abuja, Joseph Agi, Radio Nigeria.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, has dismissed reports circulating in both traditional and online media, suggesting that the ministerial press briefing session has been relocated from Abuja to London. The minister stated this during the ministerial briefing, of course the one you just heard, where the Minister of Works also spoke in Abuja. This time, our guide is Joshua Adams.
Alhaji Mohammed Idris explained that there was no plan by any minister to hold any press briefing outside Nigeria, as all briefings we are holding at the National Press Center, Abuja.
We invite these ministers to come here and address Nigerians and those outside this country directly from nowhere but from the National Press Center here in Abuja. So, if you think that the ministerial press briefing for those who are already making insinuation that is being moved outside this country, the platform that the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation is providing is what is happening here in this country.
Alhaji Mohammed Idris also used the occasion to commend the performance of national economy, noting a remarkable improvement which reflects the gradual decline of headline inflation rates as reported by the National Bureau of Statistics.
According to the report, the headline inflation rate for April stood at 23.71%. This represents a decrease of 0.52% from the 24.23% recorded in March 2025. Similarly, month-on-month inflation dropped by a notable 2.04% from 3.90% in March.
He noted that one of the major drivers of inflation, food prices, has been brought under control through President Tinubu's significant intervention, leading to notable reductions in the cost of food items. Alhadi Idris assured that the Tinubu administration would sustain the momentum of economic improvement by prioritizing people-centered policies aimed at providing relief, restoring economic stability, and promoting shared prosperity for all Nigerians. In Abuja, Joshua Adams, Radio Nigeria.
Okay, so we heard from Works Minister to Information. Now let's hear from Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike. He says the administration is deliberate on road infrastructure in the rural areas to facilitate economic activities in the area councils. He stated this while addressing journalists after inspecting ongoing road construction projects across Gwagwalada and Kwali area councils in the FCT. Mr. Wike highlighted the positive impact roads will have on local farmers in the FCT, enabling them to transport their produce to urban markets, encourage education, and enhance security.
Road network is what builds development. The key thing said that joint development is road network all over the world. Now, if you're talking about agriculture, how do you go and bring your produce when there's no road? So those who are farming here now, they will be happy that there's road. We cannot take our produce to the city, to the market to sell. So, and this again, fighting security is key. When people commit offense and there are no road to trace them, it becomes a problem.
The FCT Minister affirmed government's commitment to improving infrastructure and services across all sectors, including education and health, explaining that over 60 schools have been renovated and furnished in the FCT.
We've done a lot of work on schools. After the commissioning of the road infrastructure, the commissioning of schools. The schools were done were renovated and furnished. It's more than 60 schools, but I can tell you those sectors will be left abandoned.
The road projects inspected were the 10-kilometer Aguma Palace, Radio Nigeria New Market Road in Gwagwalada, and the 15-kilometer A2 to Pai Road from the Abuja-Lokoja Expressway to Pai Community and Kwali Area Council. The Minister's inspection tour is aimed at addressing the readiness of the projects for inauguration to commemorate President Bola Tinubu's second anniversary in office. The Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Erewa, has called for a declaration of war against human trafficking in the country. During a meeting with the Director General of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, Hajia Binta Damo Bello, at the NIDCOM headquarters in Abuja, Abike Dabiri-Erewa said combating trafficking requires a whole of government and a whole of society approach. Mrs. Dabiri-Erewa emphasized that while NAPTIP had recorded progress, the challenge remained widespread and requires stronger institutional collaboration, stiffer penalties for traffickers, and a deliberate policy shift to dismantle trafficking networks.
All which I was called for is that these people, we should see them, name and shame them the way they do drug traffickers. It's a very dangerous field. Traffickers are the serious cartel, and for NAPTIP to deal with it, they need all the support. A lot of the support that you're getting. And I believe that NAPTIP, just like NIDCOM, deserves to be better funded. Must declare a war against human trafficking.
The NIDCOM CEO also advocated closer synergy among key agencies such as NAPTIP, the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, and international partners to reinforce rescue, rehabilitation and reintegration efforts. The Director General of NAPTIP, Hajia Binta Bello, recounted recent disturbing cases, including the rescue of 19 pregnant girls in Abuja and the repatriation of 9 girls from Côte d'Ivoire, underscoring the scale and complexity of the problem.
Trafficking in persons is not just within Nigeria, it is transnational. And your office is directly dealing with the communities in the diaspora. And I feel that there is no better agency to reach out to than your commission. So I therefore take this opportunity.
The NAPTIP board stressed the need for increased public awareness and multi-agency action, assuring that her agency will continue to intensify efforts to combat trafficking and uphold Nigeria's commitment to international human rights standards. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Mahmood Kambari, has reaffirmed the Ministry's commitment to environmental sustainability. He made this known in Abuja at the European Investment Bank Assisted Climate Adaptation, Erosion and Watershed Project, NewMap EIB meeting, with coordinators from 23 participating states ahead of its project launch. Represented by the Director Legal Services in the Ministry, Mrs. Oluyemisi Salako, the Permanent Secretary emphasized the importance of the NewMap EIB project in tackling the country's environmental challenges, including climate change, erosion and land degradation. head, United Nations Office for Project Services Nigeria, Hazel Nakutukunda, reaffirmed continued support for Nigeria's environmental development initiatives, emphasizing significance of partnerships and teamwork in driving progress. Earlier, the National Project Coordinator, NewMap EIB, Mr. Yuba Yalax, outlined the project's objectives to include providing updates on project status, drafting work plan, and planning for an official launch of the project next month. Tertiary institutions that have been with less than 2,000 students will no longer benefit from the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund. The Minister of Education, Dr. Olatunji Olausa, stated this at a one-day strategic engagement with heads of tertiary institutions, bursars, heads of procurement, and TED Fund beneficiary institutions held at Ikeja, Lagos. Kikelomo Ifekoya has details.
Dr. Alonso said that the stand of the federal government to exclude higher institutions with less than 2,000 students from benefiting from TED Fund interventions was part of its measures to ensure that government funds were efficiently utilized. The Minister of Education stressed that giving the same funds meant for tertiary institutions with high student enrollment to those with less than 2,000 students would result to waste of funds, as experience had shown that such funds were not usually used efficiently for the purpose for which they were released by institutions with low enrollment. He therefore stressed that tertiary institutions like public universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education that had been operating for more than 5 years with less than 2,000 students will need to work on improving on their student enrollment if they must have access to TED Fund intervention funds. Dr. Alausa also announced that reckless use of government funds by heads of tertiary institutions would no longer be tolerated. Dr. Alausa said that the funds will be directed at rehabilitating school facilities and completion of ongoing projects. He emphasized that part of the facilities to be rehabilitated in schools include students' hostels, engineering workshops, and classrooms. The Executive Secretary, Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund, Mr. Soni Echono, said his agency will be given 1 billion naira grant to any tertiary institution interested in venturing into agricultural research aimed at encouraging modern agricultural practice in the country. Mr. Echono also announced that TED Fund had disbursed 4 billion naira each to 18 tertiary institutions across the nation's 6 geopolitical zones to expand their facilities and for equipment upgrade to enable them to expand their capacity to take more students.
We are also providing additional 750 million to each of them to build hostels in their teaching hospitals. Some of them are also getting funds from our new mold by improving the delivery systems.
The event also attracted representatives from National Universities Commission, National Commission for Colleges of Education, and National Board for Technical Education. From Lagos, Kikelomo Ifekoya, Radio Nigeria.
Staying a little bit more with the education sector, religious leaders from both the Islamic and Christian faiths have expressed strong support for the Registrar of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, over his transparent and responsible handling of the recent technical glitch that affected the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. At a joint press conference in Abuja, Imam Fuad Adeyemi of Al-Habibiyya Islamic Society and Archbishop John Priest Daniel of Dominion Chapel have applauded Professor Oloyede's leadership, describing it as a shining example of integrity and accountability in public service. Imam Adeyemi, who extended their sympathy to candidates and parents impacted by the examination disruption, but commended JAMB's swift decision to offer affected students a free opportunity to retake the test, particularly lauded Professor Oloyede's public acknowledgement of the issue and his apology to Nigerians, calling it a rare display of humility in governance.
The parents and the candidates should be patient. We should be grateful they have gotten a leader who is transformative, who is pragmatic, who is responsive. That if everybody is ready to own up for a particular mistake, then you'll be conscious of what you'll be doing in your office. He has set a standard.
Also, Archbishop John Priest Daniel noted that Professor Oloyede's handling of the 2025 UTME crisis demonstrated exceptional leadership. They reaffirmed their support for the JAMB registrar and offered prayers for his continued wisdom and success in driving educational reforms in Nigeria. The Nigerian army says it is in firm control of the country's security challenges despite rising concerns. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, gave the assurance after President Bola Tinubu's meeting with security chiefs in Abuja. According to him, the recent surge in terrorist activities across West Africa, particularly the Sahel, has intensified pressure on Nigeria's northern borders, contributing to the current wave of insecurity.
The president is concerned about what's going on, and we have reassured him that we're on top of our game. We're working extremely very hard. What has happened of recent is that there's a global push by terrorists and jihadists all over the Sahel area, and that pressure is what actually came into Nigeria because of the nature of our borders. And so Mr. President has given directives as to what to do next for us to intensify our efforts, collaborate with all our sister countries around, because it is the porous nature that is coming there that is actually aggravating our own issues on ground. Mr. President has given us much approvals for air assets and other aspects of security.
He pointed out that the aim of the Nigerian army at the moment was to provide dividends of democracy to vulnerable communities, reduce the appeal of extreme ideologies, and stamp out the roots of insecurity through development and engagement.
Members of the armed forces working in unity, including the police, to make sure that Nigeria is peaceful, and that is our mandate, and that we work towards. We want to appeal to all Nigerians not to get tired, and they should be wary of fake news. There's a lot of fake news that is being spread out, and you always want to wonder, why do some individuals feel happy when things go bad in their country? If Nigeria is destroyed, all of us will go down, and so it is important that we all cooperate with members of the armed forces and security agencies. We want to thank all Nigerians for the support we've been getting.
The CDS appealed to Nigerians to report suspicious activities, including misconduct by security personnel, and assured that appropriate actions would be taken. When asked about security concerns raised by some state governors, the CDS emphasized that the current collaboration at all levels of government would address that. He expressed optimism that all elements fighting Nigeria would be defeated, asking Nigerians to keep their hopes high, as security forces are committed to ensuring their safety. We'll move on to also stories within the, of course, security sector. But this time, let's come to, as Nigeria joins the international community to mark the International Day of the Boy Child, the Chief of Defense Staff has pledged to safeguard the nation's boy child from the growing threat of exploitation by violent groups and societal neglect. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, who stated this at the International Day of the Boy, organized by the Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, the power with the theme, Celebrating Boys, Empowering and Nurturing Our Future Leaders, underscored the urgency of investing in the development and protection of the boy child in the country. General Musa, who was represented by the Chief of Defense Civil Military Affairs, Rear Admiral Olusonyo Bankole, noted that the boy child are frequently manipulated by criminal networks and violent actors into joining armed groups. The CDS warned that in various communities across the country, the boy child faces unique hurdles, especially poor access to education. The President of Defense and Police Officers' Wives Association, the POA, Mrs. Ogogo Musa, emphasized the need to raise the boy child with care and warned against allowing societal pressures to digital influence and shape the boy child without proper guidance and support. Mrs. Musa reaffirmed the POA's commitment to creating safe and empowering spaces for the boy child within the military and police communities, promoting mental health, education, emotional intelligence, and leadership training. Director General of the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, Dr. Mohammed Bulama, has described the journalism profession as a noble one, filled with men of impeccable character who have contributed to the development of Nigeria. Dr. Bulama stated this when executives and members of the 70th Year Planning Committee of the Nigeria Union of Journalists, NUJ, paid him a courtesy call in Abuja. The Director General, who was committed to the welfare of journalists in his establishment, commended efforts by journalists themselves in the country to entrench democracy. While congratulating the Executive Committee members of the National and Abuja Council of the Union for emerging victorious at the elections, Dr. Bulama tasked journalists to shun sensationalism and be professional in their duties. Dr. Bulama, who used the medium to present a condolence letter by the corporation to the NUJ on the death of the first appointed National Secretary of the Union, late Jola Ogunlusi, assured the NUJ that FRCN would support them during activities to celebrate their anniversary.
We are very happy to associate with the NUJ. We know the role that journalism has played in the political history of this country, in the liberation struggle, in the struggle for good governance, in the quest for development of our country.
National President of the NUJ, Al-Hassan Yahaya, who was represented by the Deputy National President of the NUJ, Mrs. Abimbola Otunde, informed the Director General of Activities planned to mark the anniversary of the Union.
To roll out the drums, to celebrate ourselves, we've come of age. NUJ has evolved over the past years, and each administration keeps improving. And despite the challenges faced by journalists in the country, we won't allow that to stop us. We should roll out the drum.
Mrs. Oyetunde formally invited the Director General to the program and appealed for support from the corporation. 28 minutes to 8 it is. You're listening to the news on the network service of Radio Nigeria, and the headlines: Federal government to inaugurate newly completed federal road projects. FAC shares 1.681 trillion naira April revenue. TED fund to stop intervention in tertiary institutions with less than 2,000 students. Still to come. Benue State government trains school principals on artificial intelligence. Sports, commentary, cyber school, newspaper headlines, and weather report. I'm sure you don't want to miss out on any of them. Stay tuned.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Anambra State, are you ready? It's time to raise your voice and shape your future. TAF Africa, with support from the European Union through the Support to Democratic Governance in Nigeria (EUSDGN2) program, proudly presents the Able to Vote campaign, a voter education initiative designed to empower persons with disabilities ahead of the Anambra off-cycle election. Discover your rights, learn how to vote confidently, and be a part of the democratic process. Join us live for this impactful campaign on Tuesday, 20th May at Soprom Hotel and Suites, Onisha, and the Nnewi Hotel and Event Center, Nnewi. Time, 9 a.m. prompt. And on Wednesday, 21st May, Hilton Leisure Hotel, Oka. Time, 9 a.m. prompt. Come and get informed, be inspired, and be able to vote. For more details, follow TAF Africa on social media or visit www.tafafrica.co.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
It's really good to know you're tuned. The Benue State government has commenced a capacity building program on artificial intelligence, coding and digital skills for principals and school coordinators in the state. Declaring the event open, the Managing Director, Benue Digital Infrastructure Company, Mr. Tewasi Bandi, said the initiative aims to enhance digital literacy and skills among educators, promoting innovation and quality education in the state. He sued for collaboration from the participants to develop a mechanism that can transform the state education system into a world-class digital standard.
We are fortunate because the National Framework on Digital Literacy implemented by NIDA, we have actually gone very far with them to demonstrate the TED digital framework to ensure that artificial intelligence, coding and programming, and digital skills are introduced mandatorily into secondary education in Benue State.
Commissioner for Education and Knowledge Management, Dr. Friedrich Ikia, noted that the world has gone global, emphasized the ministry's commitment to equipping learners with information and communication technology skills to contribute to nation building. Speaking for Zone A, the principal of Government Model School Katsina Allah, Malam Shuaibu Danjima, and that of Government Model School Makode, Mr. Robert Ape for Zone B, and then Mr. Ode Omale from Wesley High School Utubu for Zone C, promised to step down the training in their areas and called on government to provide infrastructure to support the initiative. To Plateau State, Governor Caleb Mutfwang has reassured people of the state of his commitment to ensure that they sleep with their eyes closed. The governor was speaking during the funeral rites of the Longpang in Kwampan local government area of Plateau State. Governor Mutfwang commended the chairman of Kwampan local government area, Christopher Manship, for his initiatives in ensuring that crime and criminality is non-existent in the local government area and called on others to emulate him. Governor Mutfwang noted that his administration will not interfere in the selection of the new Longpang and called on the kingmakers of Pan to select a revered leader who has wisdom to stand for his people. Governor Mutfwang assured of his administration's commitment in the construction of road network from Jibam to Baab in Kwampan local government, describing it as heterogeneous in nature where all nationality are highly represented. While sympathizing with the people over the demise of the first-class traditional ruler, the chairman of Wambanduku government area, Christopher Manship, said his administration has enjoyed guidance, counsel and fatherly support from the revered traditional ruler, especially in the area of peace, unity, progress and development of the locality.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
After months of consultations and behind-the-scenes engagements, the All Progressives Congress APC in Adamawa State says it has recorded a major breakthrough in its internal reconciliation efforts. The state party's reconciliation committee, chaired by elder statesman Senator Mohammed Mana, has submitted its final report on the outcome hailed by party leaders as a strategic step toward restoring unity and rebuilding the APC's strength in the state. The reconciliation process, which was facilitated by the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, and the APC National Vice Chairman Northeast, Comrade Mustafa Salihu, was aimed at bridging internal rifts. Speaking at the submission ceremony of the committee's report, Comrade Salihu described the outcome as a new dawn for the APC in Adamawa. Party stakeholders noted that the reconciliation efforts were not merely about settling disputes, but about rebuilding trust and repositioning the APC for a strong showing in the 2027 general election. In a strong show of support, the Adamawa APC Unity Forum and the coalition of APC youths led by Mr. Khalil Sajo commended both Ribadu and Salihu for their dedication and patriotism, saying their leadership had renewed confidence across party ranks. Let's take entertainment news.
20 years after, Get Squared remains fresh in the minds of fans. Plus, mother of beauty influencer during a live stream exposes the dark side of Mexican social media. A warm welcome to your favorite entertainment news, your reliable plug on information from the entertainment industry. I am Aisha Mohammed. We'll be right back with details.
Party people, yeah. Baby, we're back again. What they say is good. We take it to the left, to the left, to the right, to the right, to the front, to the front, to the back, to the back, to the left, to the left, to the right, to the right, to the front, to the front, to the back.
20 years ago, legendary music duo P-Square released their second album, Get Squared. 2 decades later, the album remains fresh in the hearts of die-hard fans, media influencers, and music lovers. An anniversary message posted on some social media platforms, including album tops, have generated lots of likes and accolades. At the time of the release of Get Squared, the identical twins, Peter and Paulo Coe, had already gained mainstream attention thanks to the success of their debut album last night. All the tracks on the album found an audience for their hip-hop and R&B flashy music videos. The music videos of their second album draws inspiration from the fashion of American hip-hop stars. The album set P-Square brand on a path for continental glory and the Nigerian music industry on a stride to cultural exports. Nigerian music legend Bright Chimezi has reacted to the video's trending hit song With You featuring Amale. In a video posted on his Instagram page, singer was seen vibing to the song before appreciating the video, who was inspired by his classic hit record because of English.
The video is something. You can see I'm vibing to the song already. It's a beautiful piece of work, wonderful. I appreciate the fact that you said you picked the inspiration of this song because of English, a song that I recorded many years ago. I appreciate it for that. And Kubana Chief Priest, I want to make all of these.
The song, produced by Tempo, combined the melodic fusion of highlife and funk popularized in the 1970s and 80s in the country. Organizers of the ongoing International Cannes Film Festival in France have banned naked dresses, voluminous gowns and trains for this year's event. The The policy shift announced a day before the festival commenced cited decency and compliance with the French law. The new rule stipulates that any attire obstructing movement of guests or complicating seating arrangements in the screening rooms may result in denial of red carpet access. The murder of 33-year-old beauty influencer Valerie Marquez during an online stream has brought sharp focus on femicide epidemic and growing violence against influencers in Mexico. The beauty influencer with over 200,000 followers across TikTok and YouTube was killed in her salon in Zapopan, a suburban of the western city in Jalisco State, frequently shaken by criminal violence. Officials are treating the case as femicide and gender-based violence, though the motive remains unclear. Gender-based violence is a serious issue in Mexico, where the UN reports that an average of 10 women and girls are killed by their partners and family members. As forensic investigations continues into the matter, an independent expert on Mexican cartels, David Salcedo, said people who have fallen foul of the gang include informants, money lenders, and those in romantic relationship with criminals. And that's a wrap on entertainment news today. From the words of Nicole Kidman, life has got those twists and turns. You've got to hold on tight and off you go. My name is Aisha Mohammed. To join us next week for another interesting package of entertainment news. Enjoy your weekend and please stay safe. Bye-bye.
Yeah, many thanks, Aisha, for that. Sports is next. Age of 68 in his sleep yesterday, leaving behind a towering legacy that spanned 2 golden decades of African football. Tributes have been pouring in for Koundé, who was instrumental in Cameroon's triumphs at the Africa Cup of Nations in 1984 and 1988, also playing key roles in the country's appearances at the 1982 and 1990 FIFA World Cups. For more sports stories, Jonathan Ame is our guide.
The 2025 Nigeria Women Football League Premiership Super 6 is set for a dramatic and historic finale as the 3 decisive Match Day 5 fixtures will be played simultaneously by 3 p.m. today at the Remo Stars Stadium in Ikenne. 4 teams, Nasarawa Amazons, Edo Queens, Bayelsa Queens, and Remo Stars Ladies head into the final day with a realistic chance of winning the league title, making it one of the closest title races in NWFL history. Speaking on the decision to have all matches played simultaneously, the NWFL Chief Operating Officer, Modugbe Shabi, said it is to protect the integrity of the competition, promote fairness, and keep the excitement alive. Topping the table with 8 points, Nasarawa Amazons face Edo Queens, who are just 1 point ahead in a high-stake clash at the main bowl. A win for either side will seal the championship, while a draw could leave the door open for others depending on goal difference and goals scored. On pitch 4, Bayelsa Queens will look to capitalize on the situation when they take on Niger Rattles, who have yet to register a point. A convincing win could be enough for Bayelsa to claim the title if the leaders drop points. Meanwhile, Remo Stars Ladies playing on pitch 2 against Rivers Angels also remain in the hunt. With a solid win and favorable results elsewhere, the hosts could pull off a stunning late surge to clinch the crown. According to the competition rules, the final standings will be determined by goal difference, goals scored, goals considered, and head-to-head in the event of a tie on points. Elsewhere, Commissioner for Sports Development in Bayelsa State, Honorable Daniel Igali, has sent his goodwill messages to Bayelsa contingent ahead of the 22nd National Sports Festival in Ogun State. The state delegation, which is led by the director of the Bayelsa State Sports Council, Sir Braveman Woody, left Yenagoa yesterday. Honorable Igali, in a farewell address, told them of the state's support while being optimistic of the task ahead. Meanwhile, Director General of the National Sports Commission, Honorable Bukola Olokpade, says with the structures on ground to ensure quality welfare for the athletes, Ogun State is on course to host a memorable fiesta.
I've been involved in National Sports Festival for many years. I'm telling you, from what I've experienced, it shows that Ogun State will be hosting an amazing festival from the very start. Because it starts from the welfare that you give to the athletes. And the athletes will be housed in a very beautiful place. Their feeding, I'm sure, will be good. I plan to have my dinner at that backup facility.
Bukola Olokpade also told newsmen that the facilities for the games are top-notch.
When you look at everything cumulatively, you will agree with me that so many things are good. Have you seen the facilities? I believe when you look at
fully showcase facility in Remo Sports International Stadium. I look at the LKO Sports Complex as newly made by the governor of Ogun State. I look at Ikeja. Without a doubt, Ogun State has finally become the hub of sports that it has always been referred to be.
The opening ceremony comes up tomorrow as thousands of athletes from the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT will compete in 38 sports events at the 22nd National Sports Festival in Abeokuta between the 16th to the 30th of April 2025. Africa's table tennis star Aruna Quadri will aim to better his historic quarterfinal achievement as he serves things off in the ITTF World Championships today in Doha, Qatar. The Nigerian legend will open his campaign against Brazil's Victor Ishii, a familiar opponent he defeated 4-2 at the 2021 edition in Houston, USA. Other African representatives in the men's singles include Darara Duvera of Ethiopia, who faces Oh Jun-sung of South Korea, Egypt's Al Galab, who confronts Edouard Inoso of Romania, as well Wassim Essed of Tunisia, who is up against the Spaniard Juan Perez. In the women's singles, African champion Hannah Godard will face Australia's Jimowa Wu in the first round. Other key matchups include Yusra Helmi of Egypt, who takes on Joycelyn Lam of New Zealand, Hope Udoka of Nigeria, who confronts Guilia Takilashi of Brazil, as well as Mariam Al-Hodabi of Egypt, who is up against the German Sabine Winter. There's a strong Nigerian presence in the mixed doubles event, where the pair of Olajide Omotayo and Kabirat Ayola will battle the Egyptian duo of Mohamed Helmi and Hen Fati. Athletes will compete across 5 major events: the men's and women's singles, the men's and women's doubles, and the mixed doubles. All of the ITTF World Championships will take place at the state-of-the-art Lusail Multipurpose Hall and Qatar University Sports Complex from the 17th to May 25, 2025. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has finalized plans to unveil a brand new trophy for the prestigious CAF Champions League. The initiative is part of the campaign promises made by the president of CAF during his re-election bid. An official update from CAF's headquarters in Cairo, Egypt, confirms that the new trophy will be launched on the 22nd of May here. The unveiling ceremony will take place in Johannesburg, South Africa, during the first leg of the Champions League final between Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa and Egypt's Pyramid FC. With the change, Al Ahly of Egypt will go down in history as the last club to lift the outgoing version of the trophy. And that sums up today's sports package. I am Jonathan Ahmed.
Checking hypertension among Nigerians is our commentary today, and it is written against the backdrop of World Hypertension Day. The writer is Okochukwu Okoronko of our Current Affairs Unit. World Hypertension Day was designated by the World Hypertension League, an umbrella organization of 85 national hypertension societies and leagues. The day aims at increasing awareness of hypertension because of the lack of appropriate knowledge among hypertensive patients. Hypertension, or high blood pressure, is a medical condition where the force of blood against the walls of the arteries remains consistently high, putting strain on the heart and blood vessels. Medical professionals call high blood pressure a silent killer because it can go undetected for a long period of time and lead to death. Most people who have high blood pressure do not have any symptoms. The impact of hypertension globally is staggering. According to the World Health Organization, over 1.28 billion adults between the ages of 30 and 79 suffer from hypertension, yet nearly 46% of them are unaware of their condition. Hypertension is responsible for around 10 million deaths annually, mainly due to heart attacks and strokes. Beyond the human toll, the economic burden is immense, draining billions from healthcare systems and placing heavy financial strains on families. In Nigeria, the crisis is even more pressing. Statistics from the Nigeria Heart Foundation shows that about 1 in 3 Nigerian adults lives with hypertension. Factors such as rapid urbanization, unhealthy diets rich in salt, processed food, and economic as well as emotional stress have contributed heavily to the rise in hypertension cases nationwide. Nigeria's battle with hypertension is compounded by its fragile healthcare system, which is burdened by underfunding, poor access to services, and a shortage of healthcare professionals. In rural areas where access to medical facilities is limited, regular blood pressure screening is rare.
Even in urban centers, healthcare costs and lack of awareness discourages routine checkups. Furthermore, the high cost of antihypertensive medications and limited insurance coverage make many Nigerians living with hypertension unable to manage their condition. The theme for this year's World Hypertension Day is Measure Your Blood Pressure Accurately, Control It, Live Longer. The theme emphasizes the importance of regular blood pressure monitoring for effective management and prevention of hypertension. The first line of action in the fight against this killer disease is sustained public education. Nationwide, campaigns using radio, television, social media, and community outreach must be intensified to promote the importance of regular blood pressure checks. Government and private sectors must collaborate to implement widespread low-cost screening initiatives. Blood pressure checks should be integrated in all levels of healthcare, clinics, pharmacies, workplaces, schools, and religious centers. Clinics should be equipped to provide basic hypertension diagnosis and management services. Health workers must be trained to provide patient-centered care, counseling, and follow-up. Policies should prioritize the availability and affordability of essential antihypertensive drugs. The National Agency for Food Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, and the National Health Insurance Authority must ensure that these medications are part of basic health coverage packages and are distributed efficiently nationwide. Prevention remains the most cost-effective solution. Schools and communities should promote healthy eating habits, physical activity, and reduction of salt, alcohol, and tobacco use. World Hypertension Day serves as a reminder that hypertension is a growing public health challenge. However, it also offers an opportunity to reset public health priorities, invest in preventive care, and ensure that millions of Nigerians do not suffer unnecessarily from a preventable and manageable condition. His name is Jeremiah Jimmy, presenting the commentary there, Checking Hypertension Among Nigerians, written by Ogochukwu Okoronkwo. Cyberscope is next. You know how we do it. Top trends shaping conversations across Nigeria's social media space. A Nigerian boy has gone viral after revealing that JAMB rescheduled him to retake the 2025 UTME due to a system glitch. Despite scoring over 300, he received a new exam date and center in Yaba, Lagos, a city he wasn't in at the time of the update. Well, another student has also complained, Gabriel Ulisa. He shared his impressive initial UTME score of 362 with subject breakdowns. He got 95 in physics, 80 in English, 80 in chemistry, and 71 in biology. He also received a receipt notice, sparking debate about fairness of the decision. JAMB confirmed that the network glitch affected thousands of candidates, prompting the rescheduling. Well, now that Professor Loyede has said he's going to ensure that things are done right, let's see how it pans out. Uniben is trending on Facebook after a viral video showed students chasing a lecturer who refused to accept their test scripts. The incident, which occurred Friday, showed students pleading with the lecturer to collect their work after a test. The EFCC is in the spotlight following the arrest of Bashir Bello Ibrahim, a former Kaduna State government contractor. Is accused of multiple frauds totaling 30 billion naira. The commission received over 251 complaints. Ibrahim allegedly posed as a consultant for all 23 local government areas in Kaduna State and for a fake NGO supposedly linked to the SDG's office. A man identified as Peter Matthew George has been suspended and banned from practicing medicine after it was discovered, you won't believe it, that he never attended medical school. He claims to have studied, not even in Nigeria, a very bold guy, at the University of Hertfordshire, and has been practicing for over a decade, but has failed to produce any academic credentials. Reports now confirm he never attended any university, sparking outrage online. In sports, Marc Cucurella is trending after scoring the winner for Chelsea in a 1-0 victory over Manchester United. The result keeps Chelsea's Champions League's hope alive.
Manchester United, who are preparing for the Europa League final against a strong team that suffered their 18th league defeat, leaving them in 16th place. That's it for Cyberscoop today. Keep the conversation going. Connect with us at Radio Nigeria using the hashtag Cyberscoop. Today's edition was compiled by Ademi Bakari. Newspaper headlines to begin with. Punch. Simon Ekpa faces terrorism charges in Finland. FG confirms 2 million households for cash transfer. UK immigration crackdown jolts Nigerian youths. Then to the nation. Insecurity. Tinubu orders new push to tackle Sahel threat. Others. Wike Fubara supporters clash at town hall meeting in Port Harcourt. And EFCC arrests ex-government contractor for alleged 30 billion naira fraud. That's it.